Hello everybody and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Video Clips, and as usual I'll start with a couple of announcements. On October 16th, that's tomorrow, I will be doing conversations with Dr. Pam, and I'm going to start with a discussion about aspirin. It's an over-the-counter drug. People tend to associate that with more safety. Not necessarily always the case, but there are some people who benefit, most people who don't, from taking aspirin. I'm going to talk about the pros and cons and who should and shouldn't take aspirin. And then the rest of the time you'll get to ask me anything you want to if you happen to be on that call. And then on October 22nd, Chef Dell, conversations with Chef Dell, our in-house food expert and celebrity chef. He's going to talk about fall vegetables. As the seasons change, so does the food, and it's wonderful to cook with foods in season. It just makes all the difference in the world in the flavor. So you can join Dell for that. And then in just a short month, it's time for the Wellness Forum's fall conference with Dr. Colin Campbell, Dr. Alan Goldhammer, Laura Theodore, the Jazzy Vegetarian, Susan Levin from the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, and Dr. Janice Stanger, who, by the way, is going to give an incredible lecture with a lot of never-heard-before information on protein. And that continues to be a subject of interest for all of us who are promoting a plant-based diet. Okay, so I've got a couple things I want to talk about today, and I'll just start by saying one area of research in which we see consistent results and not a lot of disagreement. You don't find many things that all of us agree on in the nutrition and medical field, but one of them is that calories in liquid form, as in soft drinks, sports drinks, juices, do not reduce the amount of calories consumed in food. And therein lies the problem. It promotes weight gain. And over the years, I have had so many people tell me that they began the process of getting healthy and actually were able to lose 10 or 20 pounds just by eliminating soft drinks and juices and sports drinks or some combination of those things from their diet. Now, a recent study included data from 32 cohort studies and randomized trials in 200,000 adults and kids, and it showed clearly that the consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages was associated with both weight gain and increased BMI, body mass index, in both the adults and children. Now, the researchers said that they couldn't really attribute it entirely to the soft drink consumption because maybe soft drink consumption is indicative of other poor dietary habits, and I'm sure that's true. However, just simple math will tell you that if you're consuming this stuff, it's going to be really hard to maintain your weight. Now, the first thing is the soft drinks have gotten bigger and therefore more caloric. But I've picked an example of a smaller size soft drink, a 12-ounce Coke, which is, believe it or not, really small today. I mean, you've all seen these ginormous cups, and I think 32 ounces is small by some standards these days. But a 12-ounce Coke has 143 calories. So if you have just one of these a day, that's an extra 1,000 calories a week, which means that you're going to gain a pound every 3.5 weeks or put on 14 pounds in a year unless you change something about the food you consume. And the research is really pretty consistent that that's not how most people function. Now, most people will easily accept the idea that soft drinks aren't good for you. I don't know many people that defend them as health foods, although, an occasional soft drink for a treat is not the problem. But they don't put the same connection together with sports drinks and other caloric beverages like juices. Now, according to one study, teenagers gained even more weight while consuming sports drinks than they did from consuming soft drinks. And I think there are a couple of reasons for it. First of all, the portion sizes are bigger, and because it's perceived to be more beneficial, there's the permission factor, as they refer to it in research, diet research, which means that if I think it's good for me, I can have more of it. Artificially sweetened beverages, not so good either. One kind of interesting thing is the cephalic phase response is the way that bodies function in response to even the thought of food. And it's an adaptation that goes back years and years, and there are some biologists and anthropologists that think that it's one of the ways that humans adapted to be such efficient processors of food and facilitate easy absorption of nutrients. So here's what I mean by this. Even the sight of food can start the salivating process, can start the release of insulin, and the body getting all ready to digest whatever it is that you're going to eat. And so the sight of an artificially sweetened beverage and then the taste of something sweet begins to prepare the body to digest and absorb nutrients, including glucose. Well, when no nutrients, including glucose, appear, this triggers increased hunger. and many people will eat even more food. And it may be why there has never been research to suggest that artificially sweetened beverages actually assist in maintaining normal weight or losing weight. So all this to say, the first choice beverage for humans should be water, and everything else should be a treat. I'm not suggesting that you don't ever have a sports drink or a glass of juice or a soft drink. I try to stay away from the never type mentality, because the younger you are, the less likely the never thing works for you. But by the same token, if you're drinking the stuff all day, every day, you're going to end up with problems, and one of them is just plain extra calorie intake. All right, so now I want to transition to another subject that's kind of related to this. For many years, we here at the Wellness Forum have recommended a program of dietary excellence and optimal habits, and we've been very clear. There's a right diet for humans, just as there is a right diet for all species on the planet. There is a right exercise pattern and amount of physical activity, and there's sleep and all kinds of other things that make for an optimal diet and lifestyle. But I think sometimes we lose track of the fact that every step in the right direction can be celebrated, and we can sort of prod certain people along to move in the right direction if we don't let our quest for optimal stand in the way of improvement. So a study published in the journal Stroke earlier this year shows that even small changes in the right direction were associated with a reduced risk of stroke. So the researchers used the American Heart Association's Life's Simple 7 health factors, and they assessed stroke risk in study participants. The simple 7 factors are, by the way, be active, control cholesterol, eat a healthy diet, manage blood pressure, maintain a healthy weight, control blood sugar, and don't smoke. Now, don't smoke is real clear. The rest of them are a little fuzzy for me. Be active, what does that mean? Eat a healthy diet, that means different things to different people. But I want to stay with the focus of what I have to say here, which is that little improvements can make a difference over time. The scores for these factors were divided into 3 categories: 0 to 4 points for inadequate, 5 to 9 points for average, and 10 to 14 points for optimal cardiovascular health. Now, according to what the researchers reported, every 1 point increase toward a better score lowered the risk of stroke by 8%. And there was a clear advantage, however, of achieving optimal range. I have to report that. Those with optimal scores had a 48% reduced risk of stroke, as opposed to those with average scores, only 27%. While all factors were important, blood pressure was the most important, followed by smoking. Those who didn't smoke, never smokers, or had quit a year before the study or more, had a 40% lower stroke risk. So here's the bottom line. I'm not going to stop pushing people to adopt a Wellness Forum style diet and optimal habits. It offers the best protection against not only stroke, but many other diseases that people don't want to develop. But this research will hopefully encourage more people to at least start the process of improving their diet and lifestyle. And like I was saying in the previous article I was reporting on, one 143 calorie drop a day, which can be done by eliminating a calorie-filled beverage or changing the salad dressing on your salad, really, can result in a 14-pound difference in your weight. So we want to encourage people to strive for optimal, and we're not going to stop talking about it, and it's more advantageous to be optimal, but we also have to realize that one step in the right direction usually will lead to some more, particularly if we stay persistent and we prod these people along toward better health. So that's all for now. Have a wonderful day as usual. Pass this on to anybody who you think would enjoy watching it, and I'll be back to you on Thursday.